So, good evening, everyone. I am Ammar Hussain Ansari, quantitative researcher at Quant Club IT Kharagpur and a second year ECE sophomore. So, we are going to start the session now. So, we'll start the internship bootcamp for the quant profile. I would like all the invited members to introduce themselves. And let's start from Anshul.
Hello. Hello,
Hello.
am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So, hello, Amar. My
Hi.
name is and everyone here. My name is Anshul Timbre, and I am a third year undergraduate, currently enrolled in the course of Instrumentation Engineering at IIT Kharagpur. And recently, in the CDC internship drive, I was selected at Credit Suisse for quantitative analysis QAT profile.
Okay, great. Let's move on to Amrit.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So, hello everyone. My name is Amrit Goswami. I'm a fourth year undergraduate student currently enrolled in the financial engineering program, and I'll be joining Credit Suisse as a quantitative analyst for the coming summers.
Very good. Avi.
Hi everyone, my name is Avi Sankritya. I am a third year undergraduate student in the mechanical engineering department, and I was selected for the summer analyst profile at Goldman Sachs.
Great. Debiji. Debiji. Is Debiji there?
Yes, he's present.
Achha.
Amar, we can continue further. Debajit
Okay.
would give the introduction when his network is stable.
Sure. Krishna.
Yes, hello. Actually, Krishnam is actually currently busy in the Inter-IT interviews, so I guess he would be joining later.
Sure. Shruti.
Hello everyone, I'm Shruti and I'm a fourth year student from the Department of Mathematics, and I got an offer from Goldman Sachs through CDC this year.
Great. Tina.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm Tina, third year and a graduate student from the Department of Chemical Engineering, and I'll be joining JP Morgan as quantitative researcher this summer.
Okay, very good. So now we'll move on to the most frequently asked questions by the students. Okay, what skills and experiences are required for this profile? Any one of the panelists can help with this.
So when talking of the skills and experiences required for this profile, so essentially the skills required would include maths, which basically is the probability and statistics course which we undertake in the second year. And you should have a thorough grip over that. You should be quite familiar with the statistical methods and different problems of probability like expectation value problems, then general probability problems, and you should also be familiar with the different methods of statistics, and you should quite have a grip over the theoretical probability as well, as questions might be asked about that, and you should solve sufficient problems of logical reasoning and uh, aptitude based problems.
Okay, so I'd like to add something. Apart from this, you also need to have a grasp on your coding skills. They mostly look for your problem solving abilities and basic knowledge of algorithms of graphs, trees, etc. Also, in non-technical domain, you should be prepared. Like you should prepare for CV-based questions and HR-based questions.
Anyone else would like to add something to this?
Yeah, I would like to say that apart from these, experience in machine learning and machine learning algorithms is always a plus.
Okay, so I'm moving to the next question. How much finance knowledge is required?
Yeah, so I would like to answer that. So, as far as the CDC internship procedure is concerned, companies don't look for much finance knowledge as a prerequisite because they understand that you are an engineering student currently in your third or your fourth year. So mostly what they look is for an interest in finance, and any prior internship or project is not necessary. But it is always good to have a something related to finance in your CV just to show that you are interested in that particular domain. But as
And
far
even
as
if you,
yeah,
yeah,
continue.
so even if you don't have a finance thing on your CV, you should be like quite enthusiastic about learning finance if it requires so. And that like no prerequisite of finance as such is involved in the process of CDC.
Amar, you're muted.
Am I audible?
Yes.
So I was asking, you said that some kind of experience in finance would be
Yeah,
appreciated.
you're
So
audible now.
is corporate finance like kind of helpful in this?
I think it is always a plus point, but it's not necessary. They don't specifically look for these skills, but it's always a plus point.
Okay. Okay. So would anyone else like to add anything?
I would to say that in my interview, they asked me actually whether I know anything of finance or not. I simply told them that I do not know anything, but however, I invest in the stock market. Just like
Okay.
knowledge that they appreciated.
Okay. So moving on to the next question. Roadmap to follow for quant preparation in 3 to 4 months.
So actually, like I prepared for quant in like 3 to 4 months. So what I started off was with the book. I had some good knowledge of the probability and statistics course in my second year, and then I started off with the Heard on Street book, and I solved 2 to 3 questions daily, and this started in around May or June, and then I went on to solve almost 3 to 4 problems of Heard on Street daily, and apart from this, I also had this course of Khan Academy, which was on the probability and statistics one, and and I used to solve logical problems from Geeks for Geeks and InterviewBit, as well as some resources which are mentioned by Krishna, which included Brainstellar and uh, the TEDx puzzles. So that helped me a lot. And like you should be able to solve time-based tests. So make sure to have a grip on your probability questions for sure.
Also, if you're starting 3 to 4 months prior to your interview, so like it would be good if you brush up your coding skills, and if you already have a basic knowledge and want to just develop your problem solving abilities, you should always practice on competitive websites such as Codeforce or CodeChef or just then it would be beneficial if you start solving questions from InterviewBit and LeetCode as Abhi mentioned. So yeah, that's it.
Okay.
So when we talk of quant, it's like CP plus whatever we are talking of in terms of mathematics. So you need to have CP and then like whatever mathematics tools and all we are mentioning right now. Because CP is required for almost all the CDC companies which come here.
Anyone else would like to add something to this?
So there is this community in Brilliant. So you can like look for the topics related to probability and solve those also if the books are finished. I'll just give the link below.
Okay. So moving on to the next question. Resources for preparation.
So I'll add to this. Resources for preparation, as we mentioned, the book Hard on the Street. It's a great book to study for it. Also, there are puzzles on InterviewBit and Geek4Geeks, the standard puzzle problem sets that you can solve. So to get a grasp of questions that are puzzle questions that are asked in the interview. Also, a website named brainsteller.com that is also for puzzle and problem solving. And there's a book called 50 Challenging Problems in Probability. That is a great book for practicing probability. Apart from these, for CP, you may solve InterviewBit buckets, and medium and hard problems in LeetCode. That might be sufficient.
Okay. Someone else would like to add to it?
Actually, all the resources that Anshul mentioned, companies tend to ask questions directly from these resources. So make sure you cover these resources properly.
Yeah, the problems in 50 challenging problems in probability might seem tougher, but as you practice, you will get the knack of it. And I guess all these resources are compiled by Quant Club itself, right? You do have a
There's a
resource
Facebook
list.
post.
So that's also very helpful because I guess Krishnam shared it with me and it really helped me.
So that particular post is available on the Facebook page of Quant Club. Okay, so moving on to the next question. Ideal quant profile CV.
So as far as the CV is considered for the internship process, so usually company try to see if the candidates are interested in finance or not. So it's good to have something related to finance which shows your interest, although it's not a prerequisite, but then having something related to finance adds onto your chances. Apart from that, for if you are a 4-year student, if you have some previous experience in machine learning or data analytics, that definitely helps during the process. So if you think of an ideal quant CV, if possible, if you can have an internship related to machine learning or somewhat related to financial markets, that's the ideal thing to do. And if you can have a project in similar domain, that helps a lot. Apart from that, if you have some previous competitions, if you have done previous competitions related to quant, that also helps during the CV shortlisting process.
Okay. Someone else would like to add to it?
I think as far as Goldman Sachs is concerned, they don't look for any specific thing on your CV. But yeah, as Amrit mentioned, it is always good to have things related to coding or maths or anything related to finance. If it's there in your CV, it's a good thing. But it's not necessary.
So somebody mentioned about IIMs or ISB. So yeah, you can try for interns at ISB, as in like the Center for Analytical Finance or something. So if you get it, it's a great opportunity. And even if you don't get it, it won't be like affecting your CV negatively. And as per Goldman Sachs, they had 5 sections in their first round, which included one on quant, one was core CS concepts, 2 were on coding, 1 was HR, and these 5 sections, along with a 6th section, which was your CG, was considered for the shortlisting criteria. So make sure you do have a decent CG so that you get shortlisted for, like, even if you don't perform well in one of the sections, you have your CG which can which can get you shortlisted, right?
Do you remember the shortlisting CG?
It wasn't disclosed explicitly, but one can expect it to be around 8. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I am moving on to the next question now.
GS does not have any would be good, and yeah, an intrinsic criteria basically.
Okay. So importance of having a past internship before CDC and what kind of internship will give advantage. I guess we have gone through this, but if anyone would like to add something to it.
I did an intern at ISB, but in my interviews, it wasn't much asked. So even people who didn't have any intern and did a self project were asked questions related to quant and CP. So like there isn't something like you obviously need to have intern or something. So I had intern, but I wasn't asked much questions.
Shruti, you were saying something. Hello.
Yeah, sorry. I was saying that even if you don't have an intern or any prior work experience, but you are able to in the test and you have a decent CG, then there's a good chance of you getting shortlisted. So interns will give you an advantage, but even if you don't have them.
Okay. Like, does the internship matter after CV shortlisting?
So I did not have any kind of finance.
You should be able to. Yeah.
So in my interview, it was asked, like, they asked me to explain the project, that's it. And it was not related to quant.
So adding on to that, like as per my experience, the company try to ask you things during the interview which are relevant to the job profile. So in my case, I had a project that was related to quant. So I was mostly asked about that project, and they just skipped my internship part. So it's not much of an difference point if you have a prior internship or if you don't have during the interviews.
Okay, great. So I'll be moving to the next question.
Yes, I think it's just that you'll be able to defend whatever you have written on your CV.
Okay, so CGP sweet spot.
Around 8 or 8.5 is a fine enough CG to get you shortlisted.
If you could mention company-wise, that would really help.
So they do not disclose. Some companies have an initial criteria, but generally companies do not disclose if they put a bar on CG or not. But yeah, as someone mentioned before, 8.5 to 9 is a good enough range to be in.
So as far as quant roles are concerned, there are generally two different types of roles which come to the CDC. First are the companies, the HFTs. Basically, they have a really high CGPA criteria, which is somewhat around 9. So during internships, Quad I comes for CDC, and for placement, I guess Alpha Grep and TrexQuant come, and they do have a high CG criteria that is about 9. And the other type of companies, which are the investment banks, so they tend to have a little bit lower CG criteria, like 8 CGP around 8 is good enough.
Okay.
Quota actually officially gave that as 8, but the people shortlisted all were above 9.4. So it's kind of an unofficial thing.
Also, was there some department-specific people or like in general?
Yes, Quad I opened, I think, for recent years.
So Quad I opens only for Circuital, and Quad I opens only for Circuital, and rest apart from that,
GS does not have any departmental criteria.
And JPMC is also pretty much open to all the departments.
The Credit Suisse was also open for all of the departments, and another profile, Nomura Quant, which came this year in CDC, that was only open for computer science, MNC, and financial engineering.
Okay. So anyone would like to add anything to this? So moving on, CDC process for the quant profile.
So it basically varies from different companies. Personally, for myself in Credit Suisse, the first process was CV shortlisting, wherein they shortlisted CV, and then the test was taken for shortlisted people. From after the test, people were shortlisted, and they had 3 interview rounds. Wherein for me, they had the first round was technical, where they had asked questions related to probability statistics and basic CP. Then the second round, they grilled me particularly on my CV, very much on CV. And the third round was HR, where they asked general questions like strength, weakness, and that sort of stuff.
Could you mention the timeline also?
Timeline for what?
For all these tests and processes, like starting with CV shortlisting.
I don't remember the exact timeline, but I guess within a week, everything was completed. I mean, within a week, the interview was started.
Okay.
So, as far as Credit Suisse was concerned, that they released an initial shortlist based on CV about 4 to 5 days before day one. Then there was one test which mostly contained questions related to probability and statistics. It was a 30-minute test about 3 days prior to the interview, and then they released the final shortlist 1 day before the day one of internships.
Okay.
For GS, it starts off with a written test. The test is open for all. Anyone can appear for the test. And then they shortlist you on the basis of your performance in the test. There are 5 sections, and you are supposed to clear 3 out of them. I think Avi has already mentioned those 5 sections. And after that, in the interview process, there are mostly 3 to 5 rounds. I personally had 3 rounds, out of which almost all of them were based on coding, and questions were on probability, and puzzles were asked. And in the last round, there were some additional questions based on my CV and computer science basics, and HR based questions. So yeah, that's it for GS.
Okay.
And GS has a thing that like they shortlist people, like they do have a shortlisting criteria which may vary. They may consider some people only for the quant roles. They may consider some people only for software, and they may consider some people for software and quant roles because of their scores in the first round. So they sort of shortlist your divisions by the time you have given your test. So your interviews become quite personalized, as in if you have scored good in software only, so they tend to ask you questions from software. And if you have done quite fairly in both of them, so they give you a chance to like perform well in both of them, and they ask you questions from probability and statistics and all, and as well as questions of coding. So my second round particularly was all about quant. I was asked some medium to tough level problems of probability and statistics, as well as expectation values and stuff. So at the end, you get to know that like you would be given a choice, or you would be intimated about the profiles which you are basically shortlisted for.
Okay.
Yeah. Also in GS, if you have mentioned, like if you perform well in this, like if they're asking you questions related to coding, then you would have to code live during the interview. So that is also one thing you should prepare for. I think almost all the companies do this. Like you're gonna have to code live during the interview.
Okay.
So for JPMC, I think it started with a round of CV shortlisting. Students whose CV was shortlisted, they had a test. The test consisted of questions from probability, statistics. Some of them were directly from 50 challenging problems in probability. And I think there were 2 coding questions as well. After this test, around 10 students were shortlisted for the interview round. And I had 4 interviews plus the final HR interview. And each one of my interview, they grilled me on my CV, asked puzzles, prob stats, some number theory questions, and yeah, made sure whatever is written in my CV, I know it well.
Okay.
So for Quadai, initially it was a test, so it had both CP and normal quant questions. At the end of the test, they actually ask you to fill your preference. So you can like give your preference for software or quant. However, by the time my interview came, the CS like the SD roles were already selected, so they automatically gave me to the quant role. And like for my interview, I had almost 2 questions directly asked from Brain Stiller, and another question directly from the 50 challenging question, and they asked hard probability questions. So basically, you should just do probability, and J level probability will do like a bit higher than. Yeah.
Okay, great. Is anyone wanting to add something to this? Okay, so moving on. Fun day for tests and interviews.
So for clearing tests, if you have, if you have done interview bit twice, you are thorough with every problem that is there. And with respect to CP, knowing probability statistics, doing hard on street, 50 challenging problems in probability. Yeah, and in some tests, basic JEE maths is also asked. So this with respect to the test. And for interview, puzzles are asked and yeah, prop stats questions. Also in interview, it's important that if your interns do not have, if you have not done interns in finance, it's important that you're able to give an algorithmic angle to your interns and to whatever you're talking about and be thorough with your CV. Also, yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to add something regarding interviews. So, one thing that is very important is thinking out loud. What that means is if you have been given a question, you should not just jump to the solution immediately. You should the interviewer. If they give you a question for coding, so you should you should first explain your approach to the interviewer and then provide a brute force solution and then provide an optimal solution. So what happens with this is, in this case is, if you get stuck somewhere or if you have made any minor mistake, in that case the interviewer might even help you. So that is always a good thing.
Yeah, as mentioned by Shruti, communication is really important. I wasn't communicating much with my interview in the first round. Then they pointed me out that I won't be able to help you or guide you if you don't communicate well. So then I started explaining them what my thought process was, and ultimately, when I got stuck at one point, they actually helped me. So it actually helps.
Yes, actually, Quad I had spontaneous 5 rounds, like one after the other. And what they did was some of my friends who were a bit stuck, so they just did not like call them to the next round. So you have to be very spontaneous with the rounds. They will give you questions and you have to keep doing it, and just tell them the approach. They will help also. So like each round for my case had about 10 prop stats questions. So you just need to keep talking. That's very important. Otherwise, they will just not let you proceed to the next round.
Exactly. And also, I think the ability to explain something which is very complex in simple words, which is understandable to the interviewer, that is important as well. How you articulate, it's hard to get rejected if you're having a flowing conversation in the interview.
Okay.
Yes, actually, you should for the prop stats question, you should always explain in basic combinatorics and probability terms. Just explain in terms of C and P and factorial. Do not directly write the formula and like that.
Also, regarding CV based and HR based questions, it's beneficial if you prepare just introduction or there and any other type of your CV, so so that it doesn't sound vague during the interview.
So adding on to that, like for the interviews, do go through the job description that is mentioned in the portal. So the interviewer would be specifically asking the things which are relevant to the job description, and so you can prepare those type of questions beforehand. And also, if you especially if you don't have a previous intern, try to relate the things you have mentioned in your CV, like projects or competitions, to the job description or to quant profile in general.
Okay.
And as the interview stretched for, like, in my case, the first round was held at around 7 or 7:30, and it went out till 7 p.m. So you should be quite you should keep yourself mentally, you should have a mental calm, and you should be patient enough to like wait for your chance if possible, and like maintain calmness all throughout the process, because it's really hectic and it takes a toll on your mind.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. And also, if you do not know something in the interview, it's all right to be open about it and say that I do not know this. So this happened with me. So they asked me a complex statistics question which I did not know. I said I'm more comfortable with concepts of probability and all of that. So it's all right if you do not know something.
Yes, this is very
And
important because in our case, PropStar's course was not completed. So I just told them that it was not completed, and they believed me. They just asked me PropStar. It's just probability question.
Okay.
And regarding the live coding which they want us to do, you should be able to write clean code as well as give meaningful variable names which the interviewer should understand. You should be in a situation by that time, but you can write some piece of code which is free of errors, because if there's some errors, you need to debug it right in front.
Yes, this is a very important thing that Avi has mentioned. You should be able to write clean code.
Yes, in JPMC, no live coding was asked as such, but they asked me coding problems which I was supposed to think out loud and explain it to them in a very structured and a simple way. And as Shruti mentioned initially, start with brute force approach, then optimize it at every step and think out loud so that the interviewer is able to help you if you make a mistake.
Okay.
And one hack which I would say, if because you would be going through these books like Howard on the Street and 50 Challenging Problems in Probability, you might encounter one or two problems which might come directly from the book, but you don't have to be excited, and you don't have to spell the like you don't have to blur the answer out at that instant itself. You should maybe try to think, or at least like try to think, and even if you know the answer, don't give it out to the interviewer at that instant itself. It takes some time. Make them believe that you have not seen this question and you are actually thinking about it.
Okay. So anyone would like to add anything to this? Okay, so moving on to the next question. Okay, so now we have a Q&A session, and if anyone has any doubt, they can ask from any specific panelist here.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Avi had mentioned that his interview in Goldman Sachs depended on his course in the different sections of the test. So is it advised to focus only on certain sections and leave out the others?
No, it's not advised to do so, because just before the test, I wasn't knowing that in which profile would I be shortlisted or which profile they would consider me in. So it's always better to have to give both of the sections good weightage, and you should perform well in both of them. And like software and quant, it's more of a they're not like totally disjoint or something, right? They are sort of mutually dependent on each other, and you should like try focusing on both of them. You shouldn't be like, I'll solve quant more and less of the software thing and all that.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, so there are some questions in the chat section. The panelists can answer those.
So I will read them out one by one, and anyone can answer. So does the grade in PNS affect during the interview?
No, your grade does not matter. They won't even give your grade.
Okay.
All that matters is that you are able to solve the question that is stated. You can ask your.
Okay, so moving on to the next one. Is there any other mathematical topic that will be asked apart from prop starts? Okay, it's already answered. Okay, so Does CP have the same importance in both software and quant profiles?
No, I don't think it has the same importance. I mean, for software, you should have better coding skills. For quant profile, even if you don't, if you are not very good at coding, you can compensate with your quantitative side of quantitative aptitudes. So yeah, that's I think it's important. It's always a plus, but it's not equally important as it is as in software.
Like adding on
So
to
can
that,
it be
so in
okay?
quant profiles, what they look for is the problem solving ability. So you might not be very good in CP, but still if you have a good problem solving ability, they'll shortlist you
Uh,
for the interviews.
yes, that's right.
Also during the interview, can someone mention that they don't like CP or and like they are interested in the quant part? So like
Um,
can
I
that help?
I I think you can because personally in my case all the rounds were based on coding, but I know people who are not very good in coding and who don't even know how to code, like not even the basics of coding, but they got into GS. So I think it's okay if you just tell them that you're not very comfortable with it.
So
Yeah, one
in
of my
my case,
friends mentioned. Yeah, answer.
so so in my case, what happened was the profile, according to the profile, they did not require very heavy CP or coding skills. So when the interviewer asked, he gave me a choice whether I'm more fluent in coding part or the problem solving or the quantitative part. And since my CV had a bit of finance in it, so I mentioned him that I'm more comfortable with the finance part, and there, there was just one or two questions about CP which was asked during my interviews. Rest all was finance, which was based in my CV.
Okay.
Uh, One of my friends mentioned it clearly in the first round of the interview process of GS that he isn't much into coding and he is able to solve only the basic questions and all. So the interviewer just asked him questions related to logic and all, and he wasn't expecting him to code it up. And he was also shortlisted for the second round. So I guess, yes, you can tell them that.
Okay.
One thing I would like to say that there are not much quant roles that are available in KGP. So all of you should at least do the basic CP so that you can at least crack the initial rounds. I
Hmm.
mean that's
Um,
important. Just do not focus.
yes,
Just you will do the quant roles and just go for it because it's a bit of luck.
yes,
To be
coding
honest.
skills are important for your written tests.
Okay.
And as companies like GS have a common shortlisting test for both of the profiles, you should perform well in it.
Okay.
Also, if the optimal solution is not known to you, write the suboptimal solution. Most of the test
Yeah,
cases usually pass.
yeah, this happened in
Please do that.
GS
Or else,
because we were trying for like almost all of the KGP was trying to write a very optimized solution for a particular question, which I wasn't able to solve personally till like this was a
second
45
question,
minute
right?
question. Yeah. So there was this 45-minute question. Also so the first 25 or 30 minutes I was trying to code it up in an optimized manner. But then I remembered somebody told me that if you are not able to solve it, you should write at least as a brute force solution. I wrote a brute force solution and I guess it passed almost 10 or 11 test cases out of 12. So if you don't know the optimized solution, please write a brute force or semi-brute solution.
Okay. Uh, would anyone else like to add anything?
One
Okay.
thing I would like to say. So if they are asking to compute the minimum distance between some 2 points or something, even just returning the distance between those 2 points will give you like some test cases, and that
Yeah,
can be
like
calculated.
Debajit, if you remember, like 4 to 5 test cases
Yeah.
ran, right?
I couldn't do that. Didn't get shortlisted. That's why I'm telling you. Like just do anything which comes to your mind.
Yeah,
Okay.
sometimes even returning like if the answer is like say three
You
options
can
are there,
even print
minus one,
that.
zero.
You can print the custom cases and return that out.
Yeah,
That will
yeah.
work.
Sometimes they want to.
Okay. Okay. So the next question is, what level of CP do we need for the coding rounds in terms of difficulty of questions?
I think in most of the companies, there are medium or easy or medium level questions from lead code as asked in the test. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. So
If you are in like quant profile, so they won't ask very tough CP, like they won't ask much of graphs and all. Just do the basic dynamic programming, binary search, implementation. That's enough.
okay. Okay, so the next one is how to start with CP, any tutorial that start from the beginning.
Yeah. If you are starting now, like if you have 6 to 7 months of time, then you should start with Codeforces or CodeChef, because these platforms help you develop your problem solving abilities. And if you don't have much time and if you want to do it in a quick manner, then you should directly solve questions from InterviewBit or LeetCode, because yeah, companies directly ask questions from these platforms, so that might help.
Okay. So moving to the next one. So I'll give the summary of this. So do you have the past year questions?
So I do remember one of the question, which was the Russian roulette problem. And there was this, so you can simply Google it. There was a Russian roulette problem. And I was also asked about the formulation of the Chebyshev's inequality, I guess. So these questions, sort of, if you want to have a pattern or something, you can simply check out the book 50 Challenging Problems in Probability, as well as Heard in the Street, the chapter 1 and chapter 4 of Heard in the Street. They would give you a fair enough idea about how the questions are asked.
Okay.
Yes, for JPMC, I was asked 3 to 4 questions directly from Brainsteller. So
okay,
checking that out is important as well.
Same for me. I was also asked like 2-3 questions I from Brainsteller, and one question from 50 challenge.
okay. Okay, so this one is how to prepare for FRM.
That's quite irrelevant right now.
Okay, if we are selected for both profiles in GS, then do we have to select one? Acha, this we have done. Is there any particular are there any particular sections which are more important in Heard on the Street?
So
so there are not particular, it is not divided in sections as per se, but solving chapter number 1 and 4 would be sufficient. I mean, those are the major sections that are asked. Other sections are more finance focused and are mostly not asked in interviews. Any kind of.
Yeah, the other chapters are from finance and stuff, so they won't be asking you anyways.
Yeah, so chapter 1 and 4 complete.
Okay. Okay, the next one is the current syllabus and level of PropStats course from KGP enough?
Yeah, that's enough.
I think that's enough.
So if anyone has the notes of Anubhav Jain, it's like more than enough. It has almost all the topics which we need for CDC thing. It has many questions of expectation values as well as the probability questions.
Okay. Anyone else would like to ask anything from the panelist?
So yeah, I have a question that what are the important topics in CP like DP or graphs or something like that?
In CP, your basic knowledge of algorithms of graphs and trees, and yes, dynamic programming is very important. Almost all of the companies ask questions from DP.
And yes, so these are the topics that are important. Apart from this basic questions of backtracking and all, yeah, that's it. From data structures point of view, only graphs and trees and basic algorithms of graphs and trees.
And you can look out for some greedy algorithms too, adding on to Shruti's whatever she mentioned. Apart from that, you can also look out for some problems of a greedy approach. So sometimes they're asked to.
Usually, like this is true for most of the SD profiles also. So usually, the first question is usually a binary search question or implementation. The second is DP or graph, and third one is, if there is a third one, then it's a bit greedy or another DP.
Yeah. Also, there is one data structure that is quite rare, and that is try. And most of the students
Yeah,
tend
sometimes
to,
they
leave
might ask.
this. Yeah,
Yeah.
they might ask questions on this data structure itself.
Okay, so we have another question. Are the companies biased for any departments?
I think they are, because some of the companies don't even open for all the non-circuitous branches. But if it is open for all the branches, then it's not a problem.
So basically, if you are able to give the first round and the company is open for you, and if you're able to crack it, ideally there shouldn't be any biasness in the interviews if you're able to perform well.
Yes, like
Yeah,
your
Shruti.
performance in test matters.
Okay.
Some companies have a initial branch criteria like Quad ID, Shaw, Microsoft, Google, etc. They have this thing of they allow some particular branches to sit for their first round of shortlisting itself. But if the company allows you to sit for the first round, then you can easily like if you are able to get through the test, they won't be discriminating you on the basis of your branch.
Okay. Any more questions?
So as you mentioned that prop start is important. So the prop start is from the JE part or the one we have in our curriculum?
So
in prop stats, yeah, wait.
Shruti, you can continue, please.
Okay. So in prop stats, basics of probability and some distributions, etc. I think that's enough. Not more than that. Probability J level would do, and in statistics part, you should be aware with with the distributions and all.
Like adding on
And
to that, so
yeah, okay.
So they do ask a lot of questions regarding calculating expectations and specifically about random variables. So like cover the statistics and distribution part well and the problems related to expectations.
So yeah, expectation value problems are something which weren't much covered in the JE level. So we have this course of engineering probability, right? I have pasted a link of Khan Academy as well as the course which we have in KGP. It's more of an engineering probability and statistics thing. The JE level probability would do, but you should be able to solve the random variable questions because they're asked, plenty much of them are asked in the interview specifically.
Yes, basically the course that is offered in KGP, that's enough.
Okay, we have another one. Do PORs matter?
I don't think that
No,
PORs
probably.
would matter specifically in quant profiles.
Yeah, exactly. Also, it depends on company though. But in GS also, I don't think your PR matters. Even though my interviewer did point out that I had a very good PR in my CV, but yeah, it does not matter. It was just a talking point for us.
Yeah, that is what basically PORs are for in interview, talking point. In
Yeah.
few cases, it might be something by which interviewer might assess your communication skills by asking you how to how did you work in PORs and as such, but nothing much.
Yes, so the POR part might be asked in the HR round. Like in the technical round, they won't go to the POR part.
Okay.
Once you are to the HR round, nobody rejects. It's very unlikely that after going to the HR round, anybody will reject you. So it actually doesn't matter for any technical roles.
Okay. So I guess we'll be wrapping up here. Does anyone want to ask anything?
Hello.
Actually,
Could you provide a resource for guesstimates?
Hi Aditya, guesstimates aren't a part of the quant thing as in the interviews, but you have some excellent guesstimate resources from Communique, I guess. So you can check their page out or something. They do have a lot of resources for guesstimates.
actually, some of the panelists mentioned that we should write some custom case codes if we are not able to write the correct solution. So is that a bad practice? Like, do they check the solutions that we submit?
Yeah, actually, it's not a very good thing. It's just a hack कि अगर किसी ने नहीं देखा तो like you might get shortlisted, but it is obviously not a good practice because you might have to explain your code or you might have to tell the interviewer that how did you get the answer. So it's not a good practice, but it's just a hack.
So this happened at IIT Delhi that the interview rounds for coordination were done. And so after the initial shortlisting, which was the coding round, in the first round itself, they had printed out the solutions of the candidates which they had shortlisted, and they basically asked them to explain their code itself. So it was a major
Yes,
embarrassment for the
this
people who had written that.
exactly
Yes,
this
Shruti.
happens in many companies.
Thanks.
Okay, so any more questions? So I guess we'll wrap up now. Thanks a lot to all the seniors for giving their precious time, and it was really helpful.